Chapter 2. Welcome to Galveston. Tap, tap, tap. Soft rain fell on the roof of the treehouse. A gentle breeze shook the tree leaves outside. "Old-fashioned clothes," said Annie. She and Jack were both wearing stockings, leather shoes, and shirts with sailor collars. Annie wore a cotton skirt, and Jack wore knee pants. Their two small umbrellas had changed into one large black umbrella with a bamboo handle. Jack's backpack was now a thick canvas knapsack. "We wore clothes like these when we went to San Francisco in 1906, said Jack. "Maybe we've come to the same time." He and Annie looked out the window. The tree house had landed in a spreading oak tree in someone's backyard. From the window, Jack and Annie could see all the way across the city of Galveston. They saw wooden houses, fancy-looking mansions, stables and barns, horse buggies, and street trolleys. "This could definitely be the early 1900s, said Annie. "No cars or trucks anywhere." "Right," said Jack. He pulled out their Texas book and found Galveston in the index. He read aloud. "The city of Galveston, Texas, was built on a long, narrow island between the Gulf of Mexico and Galveston Bay." "Exactly what our rhyme says, an island in Texas between Gulf and Bay," said Annie. Jack kept reading. "In the late 1800s, Galveston was the third busiest seaport in the United States. Ships from all over the world docked there. The thriving city had almost 40,000 residents. It was also a popular tourist resort." "That's us, a couple of tourists," said Annie. "Come on, let's explore the city." "Okay," said Jack, "but the main thing we have to do is find the people Morgan wants us to help." Jack put their Texas book in his knapsack. Annie grabbed their old-fashioned umbrella. "Wow, this is heavy," she said. "Toss it to the ground," Jack said. Annie lowered the long, folded umbrella out the window and dropped it. Then she and Jack climbed down the rope ladder. As they stepped onto the soggy grass, the rain fell harder. Jack picked up the umbrella and opened it. It was heavy and awkward, and its black canopy easily covered both of them. "Hey, people are home in that house," said Annie. "Hear them?" Not far from the oak tree was a blue house with a wide front porch. It was set about 5 feet off the ground on brick pillars. From an open window came the cries of a baby and then a woman's voice singing, "Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Papa's gonna buy you a mockingbird." "She has a pretty voice," said Annie. "Yeah, but let's hurry out of her yard before she discovers us and the treehouse," said Jack. Holding the huge umbrella over them, Jack walked with Annie to the gate of an iron fence. Then they slipped out of the yard onto a street. "Look, we're on Avenue L," said Jack, pointing to a street sign. "When it's time to get back to the treehouse, we'll need to come back here." "Got it," said Annie. "Blue house, iron fence, Avenue L." Rain pelted their umbrella as Jack and Annie started down the avenue. The street was lined with spreading oaks and wooden houses. Nearly all the houses had wide front porches and were set on brick pillars. Small children were playing in rain puddles. A gust of wind nearly ripped the umbrella out of Jack's hands. The wind blew the rain sideways, soaking their clothes. A horse and buggy clattered past, and mud spattered their shoes and stockings. "Yikes, let's get inside somewhere," said Annie. "Good idea," said Jack. Jack and Annie walked faster until they turned the corner of Avenue L and 25th Street. Heading down 25th, they passed a blacksmith shop, a shoemaker, and a hat maker. Annie stopped in front of the Lone Star Cafe. "Should we go in there?" she asked. "Yes," said Jack, and he closed their huge umbrella. A bell jangled over the door as Jack and Annie entered the crowded cafe. The warm, damp room smelled of coffee and bacon. Jack and Annie sat at a table near a rain-streaked window. They watched others hurry into the cafe, men in cowboy hats and suits, and women in flowered bonnets and long skirts. Everyone seemed cheerful as they shook the rain from their umbrellas and hats. "So who exactly are we supposed to help in Galveston?" said Jack. "And where's High Ground?" "I'll ask," said Annie. She turned to a gray-haired couple at the table next to them. "'Scuse me, where is High Ground in Galveston?" High ground is that way, missy, said the elderly man, pointing to the right. We call it uptown. The lowest ground is along the Strand, said the woman in a squeaky voice. She pointed to the left. It's the street that runs beside the Gulf. But that's a funny question. You're not from here, are you? No, we're tourists from Pennsylvania, said Annie. Well, welcome to Galveston, said the woman. Thanks, said Annie. She turned back to Jack. One question answered. Good, but we have more, he said. He pulled out their Texas book and read softly to Annie. By the end of the 1800s, many considered the island city of Galveston to be the leading city in Texas. Its port was filled with ships. Its hotels and restaurants were filled with tourists. Its neighborhoods had nice homes and schools. The city seemed to have everything. Sounds like a great place, said Annie. Jack kept reading. But one day all that changed. Uh-oh, said Annie. Jack read on. On September 8, 1900, Galveston suffered the worst natural disaster in U.S. history. A deadly storm, later known as the Great Galveston Hurricane, swept across the island. Oh, man, said Jack. A scary thought came to him. His heart started to pound. What's today's date? He asked. Annie turned back to the couple. Excuse me again, do you know today's date? She asked. September 8th, the woman said with a friendly smile. 1900? Jack asked. Why, yes, you didn't know that? The woman asked. Jack just shrugged. His mouth was suddenly so dry he could hardly speak. He looked back at Annie. Her eyes were huge. We got here just in time, whispered Annie. Right, said Jack, for the worst natural disaster in U.S. history.